Mom, my tummy sure does hurt. Ever since the Virginia game. Do you have anything for my upset tummy?
Don't worry, Russ. I'm gonna fix you a nice bowl of delicious Campbell's tomato soup. Thanks, Mom. Campbell's soup hit the spot.
You don't want none! You don't want none!
What's going on, Tar Heel Nation? It is your favorite North Carolinian, Russ the Tar Heel. And in this episode, we're going to talk about the North Carolina Tar Heels hosting the Campbell Fighting Camels. That's right, the Camels from Bowie's Creek. If you're from North Carolina, oh, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Or maybe you don't. But after 2 straight L's, I must say, that is one massive tummy ache. But there's nothing that can cure that more than a delicious bowl of Campbell's tomato soup. So, we're going to get into the North Carolina Campbell game. I'm not going to lie, bro. When the schedule came out and I found out that we were playing Camel in the last game of October, this is one of those ones where you're like, good night, bro. This is not a good spot for this game. Why are we playing them, etc., etc.? But if you had the foresight 2-3 months ago, you could not have placed this game in a better spot, understanding that we would drop the last 2 against Virginia and at Georgia Tech. So this is a tremendous opportunity for the North Carolina Tar Heels to iron out some kinks, maybe get a little bit more confidence back on that defense, and most importantly, get another W in the win columns. So let's take a look at the matchup predictor. Now, obviously, this thing, especially the last 2 weeks, that's had North Carolina highly favored, has really dropped the ball. So, by all means, take this with a grain of salt. And even though the matchup predictor has Carolina winning this, 99% chance, against Virginia, it was like a 94-95% chance that Carolina would win. So, that just goes to show you, 1, how unpredictable this thing is, and 2, how unpredictable our Tar Heels have become. So, yikes. Anyway, right now, it's a 12 p.m. kick, ACC Network, and it's supposed to be sunny and 53 in Chapel Hill. So, it's going to be perfect weather for football, and this is a great game to go ahead and play, get the first kick in at noon, get that W in your stinking system, maybe watch some college football after that, enjoy the rest of our Saturday. So, let's look at these Campbell Fighting Camels. Campbell comes in at 4-4, 3-3 in the CAA. This is their first year there. They're currently 7th place, and they are led by quarterback Haj Malik Williams. Now, Haj Malik Williams is a 6-foot senior. He's 205 pounds from Atlanta, Georgia. He's thrown for 2,080 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. Now, Campbell's leading rusher is Nakari Rogers. He's a 6-foot, 205-pound sophomore from Virginia Beach, Virginia. He's got 86 carries, 414 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 4.8 yards per carry. He only had 1 carry for 12 yards against Maine, which resulted in a 34-28 win. Now, Campbell's leading receiver is Jalen Kelsey, 6-foot, 280-pound senior from Gainesville, Florida. He's got 27 receptions for 469 yards, 3 touchdowns, 17.4 yards per catch. So this is the guy that Carolina is going to have to watch out for, because Campbell, believe it or not, is averaging 35 points per game. So this is a team that can put some points on the board, and they're obviously going to test the North Carolina defense, even though this is allegedly supposedly a lower level competition. Now, if we're looking at Campbell's record, they started the season with a 34-24 loss to William & Mary. Now, keep in mind, that's the same William & Mary team that played Virginia tough, and that's the same Virginia team that beat Carolina. So there is no reason to insinuate that Campbell will not be able to be competitive, if you will. You know, if we're going to look at comparisons between football games and the outcomes of those matchups, while this is a game that North Carolina should obviously win and handle, it's not a team that we're just going to be able to take lightly. Second game of the season, they were at the Citadel. They win 56-7. Then they get a 45-31 win at Monmouth. Then they take an L to Elon. They lose to North Carolina Central. They win at Hampton. And then they got their last W against the Maine Bears, 34-28, before losing 44-13 at Richmond. So, not a bad football team, okay? So this is not necessarily a team that we're going to be able to just cakewalk through, if you will. Carolina needs to iron out some kinks, right? This is a game that they should take extremely seriously. It's not as if they shouldn't have taken the other one serious, but we are in desperate need of getting some confidence back. We are in desperate need of getting back in the win column and trying to right this ship to the best of our ability. So let's look at those North Carolina Tar Heels. They're led by sophomore quarterback Drake May, 6'4", 230 pounds from Hunterville, North Carolina. 2,559 yards passing, 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 78.7 QBR, which is good for 12th in the country. The North Carolina Tar Heels are also led by sophomore running back O'Marion Hampton, 6', 220 pounds from Clayton, North Carolina. He's got 160 carries, 923 yards, 10 touchdowns on a 5.8 yards per carry average. And then North Carolina's leading receiver is J.J. Jones. He's a 6'2", 210-pound junior from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. 28 receptions, 456 yards, 16.3 yards per reception. J.J. Jones is going to be in a big spot this week because I would be extremely surprised if Tez Walker plays this week. Obviously, he took a really big hit against Georgia Tech at the later stages of the fourth quarter. And, they haven't really released his diagnosis, if you will. But I think it's safe to say that this is probably one that he's going to sit out. If he doesn't, great. But at the time of this video, we really don't have any indication that he's going to be playing this week. And you just kind of think that he's going to sit out due to, what transpired. He went to the hospital, et cetera, et cetera. So hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he heals quickly, and we'll have him back for that pivotal 3-game stretch. Who knows if he even plays versus Campbell, But I would imagine that he's probably going to sit out during this game. I could be wrong. We'll see. So there are your leaders for the North Carolina Tar Heels. Now, obviously, North Carolina is 6-2. They are now 3-2 in the ACC, and they are behind Florida State, who's 6-0, 8-0 overall. Louisville has got a 4-1 record. Virginia Tech is 3-1, and Georgia Tech is 3-2 also, but they obviously own the tiebreaker. So, looking at the ACC schedule this week, Notre Dame plays Clemson. Doesn't really matter as far as ACC standings are concerned. Obviously, we have the Campbell, North Carolina game. Georgia Tech visits Virginia. Now, Georgia Tech recently has struggled, especially in Charlottesville. So, I'm actually hoping that Virginia can kind of pave the way for North Carolina to start carving up some of that ground in order to get back to the ACC championship game. So, as Carolina fans, we should be pulling for the Virginia Cavaliers. As much as it pains me to say that, we need Georgia Tech to lose another football game. Florida State, Pittsburgh, really doesn't matter as far as North Carolina is concerned. Now, another really important game this weekend is Virginia Tech at Louisville. Now, Louisville has obviously been gifted with a ridiculously easy schedule. So this is one that you should pay attention to because obviously we don't play either one of these teams this year. So one of them is going to go to 2 losses in the ACC. And it'd probably be good if somehow Louisville can beat Virginia Tech to give them that second loss. And then I'm hoping that Louisville can lose to Miami later, which then gives Louisville that second loss also in the ACC. And then you got ACC stinking pandemonium all over again for everybody trying to fight who's going to play against Florida State in the ACC championship game. Miami and NC State are both 2-2, so, I'd rather Miami beat State because we still own that tiebreaker against the Canes. And obviously, you're never going to catch me pulling for the Canes or the Duke Blue Devils. So, let's get into Russ's 3 keys to the game. Key number 1. Broken record time, dude. This is obviously lower level competition, okay? What do you think I'm going to tell you guys? Give it to the bell cow, man. Run the football, okay? Often, heavy run doses. I mean, we should be able to completely cram the ball down Campbell's throat. There's no excuse. It's in Chapel Hill. Inferior competition. You got 2 220-pound backs that are just absolutely, statues as far as, being chiseled running backs. We should be able to absolutely demoralize them by just running the football down their throat. You get through this game, you get back that tenacity, you establish the line of scrimmage, you dominate the line of scrimmage, especially after Georgia Tech did a tremendous job of dominating the line of scrimmage. We need to get that confidence back that we can, control the line of scrimmage. And that's what I want to see. I want to see us run the football often. So control the clock, run the football, make this game as short as possible, and get your confidence back. And a lot of that is going to stem from getting that tough mindset of dominating someone. And then you can take that into the Duke game, which is going to be extremely, extremely physical. Key number 2 to the game. What do you think I'm going to say? Broken record time. North Carolina gave up 230 yards rushing against Virginia that only averaged 99.5 yards per game. And then they follow that up by letting Georgia Tech rush for almost 350 yards, 250, which were in the fourth quarter. I think it's time to stinking pound your chest, dude. I think it's stinking time that you say to yourself, Gene Chizik, Tim Cross, everybody on the defensive side of the football says, I swear to you, if they run for more than stinking 50 yards, 75 yards, make it ridiculous. If they run for more than 50, 75 yards, I will stinking make you guys run gassers until you die. Obviously, I'm being facetious there, figuratively speaking, But there is no reason, 0 reason, that this is not a game where we should be able to control the line of scrimmage, get some push. I'm telling you, if the defensive tackles don't get some push in this game, oh my goodness. We got some deep-seated problems. They should be causing all kinds of havoc in that backfield. They should be moving the line of scrimmage. Georgia Tech had our defensive tackles 3, 4, 5 yards down the field. We should be 3, 4, 5 yards in the backfield almost every stinking play. If not, bro, we got some issues. Key number 3 to the game. Start fast and finish strong. North Carolina started the Georgia Tech game 14-0, driving in the first part of the second quarter to go up 3 scores. They started fast. That game could not have started any better. You couldn't have drawn it up any better than what the Heels situation was going into the first part of the second quarter. And then the bottom fell out. And they took a 28-24 lead into halftime, which was unbelievable. The second quarter, the defense just caved. And then the third quarter, the only reason that the defense looked good, because they only allowed 10 yards was because they only played 5 snaps because the North Carolina Tar Heel offense was on the field for like 13 and a half minutes. And then the fourth quarter, the bottom dropped out. And I mean, those Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets were cutting up our defense, especially that front seven, like a knife through stinking a hot whatever you want. I mean, you get what I'm saying. It was ridiculous. Just no push, no fight. And, not only were the D tackles getting just mauled and pushed down the field, linebackers were getting pancaked, and Gene Chizik is in a stinking nickel package when you know that Georgia Tech is going to run the football. So, some of it is on the toughness of the North Carolina Tar Heels, especially the softness of our D tackles, and I'm just going to call it what it is. And a lot of it is also Gene Chizik just refusing to be physical. Mac alluded to it in his Monday press conference. Hey, man, we got to stop the run. That's football 101. And it just amazes me that we're in, what is this, 6-2? We're in game 9. And now we're talking about the fundamentals of football, which is don't let them run the ball down your throat. So what I want to see is them establish the line of scrimmage. I don't want to see if we can get pressure with 4. I want you to commit 7, 8 guys in the box. Make the quarterback beat you, man. Make the quarterback beat you. But they should not rush for 50, 75 yards. Period. With what we have, we should be able to clamp them down. And so that's what I want to see. I want to see us run the football. I want to see us stop the run, and I want to see us start fast and finish strong. There's no reason that we should not have blown that game open against Tech, even with that egregious holding penalty that made us have to punt to them, and then they scored on the next drive, just cutting us up, running the football. So those are Russ's 3 keys to the game. Now, that leads us into Russ's game prediction. So obviously, we've had some struggles on the defensive side of the football, right? We have not been able to stop the run to save our stinking life for the past 2 weeks. Like I alluded to, some of it is just the toughness or lack thereof in the middle, especially at the defensive tackle position. And a lot of it is also scheme, just a refusal to put numbers in the box and make teams throw it over your head. So, I need to see again that North Carolina can be a competent defense as far as stopping the run. Now, I don't really suspect that Campbell is world beaters at the run game, but I do believe that, Williams is going to be able to maybe throw it around just a little bit. And that defense right now is, it's beleaguered. I mean, they are, I think that they're lacking confidence. So it'll be interesting to see how they approach this football game. It's just Campbell, as they say. It's at home. It's a 12 o'clock kick. There's probably not going to be a lot of people in Kenan Stadium. So they're going to have to generate their own energy, and they're going to have to slowly but surely win this fan base back in the remainder of the season. So that is what I'm interested in seeing. And, this is a game where, like I said, North Carolina should handle business and handle it, very easily. This shouldn't be a Wofford game where we win 34-14. This should be a game where, it's 34-7 at the half. Maybe we get a couple of drives with the first teamers. It's 49-10, something like that after the third quarter. And then we start getting some of these second team guys in, especially, the second string quarterback. I'd love to see Harrell come in and get a little bit of burn because you just never know. And we do, man. Games like this, we got to start, kind of giving these guys a little time under center because Drake he's probably not coming back. So I would like for us to go ahead and blow this thing out and enable Harrell to get some burn, especially Harrell, because I think it's just imperative that we get a quarterback under center, just to give him a little game time, game rep, man. So Russ's final score, North Carolina 56, Campbell 17. 56-17. I think that we're going to be able to score at will, obviously. We're going to be able to run the football. We're going to be able to throw the football. It's not going to be an issue with us scoring. What I do want to see, though, is how this defense responds to an inferior competition, because obviously these guys are they're lacking confidence right now because they have been just absolutely destroyed the past 2 weeks. So that's what I want to see. 56-17 is going to be my score prediction. Let me know what you think, Tar Heel Nation, down in the comments section. Is this a bounce-back game for the Heels? Do you take anything from this? Say we win 56-17. Do you think that puts us back on the right trajectory? Do you feel confident going into the Duke game with that kind of victory? What happens if we kind of just, sleepwalk through this thing and we have a 34-14 W like we did against Wofford a couple years ago? Then what do you think? I'm looking for the Heels to come out strong, and I'm looking for them to bounce back and go into this last 3-game stretch, which is going to be super exciting. Don't think that that's not going to be exciting, guys. We still are in this thing as far as getting to the ACC championship game. We are mathematically not eliminated. So there's a lot to be excited about. Make sure that you tune in on Wednesday for Russ's Rant in the Tar Heel Mobile. And you already know, baby, 12 o'clock, we're going to be live to watch the Heels host the Camels in what will hopefully be a big bounce-back game and get these guys some confidence again. So I love you, Tar Heel Nation. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe. Comment down in that comment section what you think about this football game, and we will catch y'all on the next one.